Tonight you find yourself waking before sunrise on a quiet 19th-century farm. The world around you is still dark. No electric lights glow in the distance. No cars pass on roads. No distant hum of machines fills the air. Instead, there is only silence, broken occasionally by the soft chirping of crickets and the distant call of a rooster preparing to greet the coming dawn. You lie beneath a thick wool blanket stuffed with feathers. The mattress beneath you is far firmer than anything found in the modern world. It creaks slightly whenever you move. The room is cold, very cold. During the 19th century, heating an entire farmhouse was almost impossible. Families usually heated only 1 or 2 rooms, leaving bedrooms chilly throughout much of the year. You slowly sit up. The wooden floor feels icy beneath your bare feet. A small window near your bed shows only darkness outside. Yet despite the darkness, the farm day is already beginning. Farmers cannot wait for comfort. Animals must be fed. Water must be carried. Fires must be lit. Work begins long before the sun rises. You pull on simple clothes made from rough homespun fabric. Nothing about 19th century clothing is designed for luxury. Every garment is expected to last for years. Many farm families make their own clothing from wool, harvested from sheep or linen produced from flax. Even children learn basic sewing skills at a young age. You button your shirt slowly. Outside, another rooster crows, then another. Soon, an entire chorus echoes across the countryside. Morning has arrived. You carefully descend the wooden staircase. The farmhouse remains dimly lit. A faint orange glow flickers from the kitchen hearth. Someone has already risen before you. Perhaps the mother of the household, perhaps an older daughter. Keeping a fire alive is one of the most important daily tasks. Without fire, there is no breakfast. Without fire, there is no warmth. Without fire, there is no hot water. You step into the kitchen. The massive stone fireplace dominates the room. A cast iron kettle hangs above glowing embers. Wood crackles softly. The smell of smoke fills the air. For a 19th century farm family, this fireplace is the center of life itself. Meals are cooked here. Clothes are dried here. Stories are shared here. Winter evenings are spent gathered around its warmth. You take a moment to warm your hands. Outside, dawn slowly approaches. Soon the household begins to stir. Footsteps sound upstairs. Doors open. Children emerge rubbing sleepy eyes. The day ahead will be long, very long. A typical farm family works from sunrise until sunset. During planting and harvest seasons, the work can continue even longer. There are few holidays, few breaks, and very little leisure. The farm demands constant attention. Breakfast preparation begins. Food in the 19th century is simple but filling. Hard physical labor requires enormous amounts of energy. Fresh bread appears on the table. Perhaps cornmeal mush, perhaps oatmeal porridge, maybe salt pork preserved from the previous autumn. Nothing is wasted. Food production requires too much effort for wastefulness. Every crumb matters. You sit beside the family as daylight slowly enters through the windows. The meal is quiet. Most people are still waking. Soon the farmer speaks. The day's work is assigned. Everyone has responsibilities. Even young children contribute. A 10-year-old may gather eggs. A 12-year-old may help milk cows. Teenagers often perform nearly the same work as adults. Farm life leaves little room for idleness. Breakfast ends quickly. Now the real day begins. The farmer reaches for a lantern. You step outside. Cold morning air greets you immediately. Mist hangs over nearby fields. Dew covers every blade of grass. The sky glows faintly pink on the horizon. It is beautiful. Yet nobody pauses to admire it for long. Animals are waiting. The barn stands nearby. Large wooden doors creak as they swing open. Inside, livestock stir impatiently. Cows shift their weight, horses stamp their hooves. Chickens cluck softly. They know feeding time has arrived. You enter the barn, the smell is strong. Hay, animals, earth, wood. For 19th-century farmers, these scents are simply part of everyday life. A horse nickers softly from its stall. Horses are among the most valuable possessions on any farm. Without horses, ploughing fields becomes vastly more difficult. Transportation slows dramatically. Harvesting takes longer. Nearly every aspect of farm life depends on their strength. You begin carrying hay, armful after armful. Animals consume enormous quantities of food each day. Preparing winter feed requires months of effort. Throughout summer, farmers cut grass and dry it into hay. Huge stacks fill barns before cold weather arrives. Without enough hay, livestock may not survive winter. Feeding animals is only the first task. Water comes next. Modern farms rely on pumps and automatic systems. 19th-century farms do not. Water often comes from wells. You walk toward one nearby. The wooden structure stands quietly in the early morning light. A bucket descends into darkness. Moments later, it emerges heavy with cold water. You carry bucket after bucket. The work is repetitive, yet essential. Every animal depends on it. Every person depends on it. Water is life. As the sun finally rises above the horizon, golden light spreads across the landscape. Fields stretch in every direction. Some contain wheat, others corn, others oats. Crop choices vary by region, yet nearly every farm grows multiple varieties. Diversification helps families survive poor harvests. If one crop fails, another may succeed. Experience teaches caution. Nature is unpredictable. Farmers know this better than anyone. You leave the barn and walk toward the chicken coop. The chickens are already active. Some scratch eagerly at the ground. Others flutter from perch to perch. Egg collection is a daily responsibility. You gather them carefully. Fresh eggs provide valuable nutrition. They can also be sold or traded. Many farm families participate in local barter systems. Money is often scarce. Goods frequently replace cash. Eggs might be exchanged for sugar, butter for tools, wool for medicine. Rural economies function differently from modern ones. Neighbors rely heavily upon one another. Community connections are essential. After collecting eggs, attention turns toward the fields. This is where the hardest work often occurs. You walk alongside the farmer. The soil beneath your boots feels damp. Rows stretch far into the distance. Today might involve planting, or weeding, or harvesting. Every season brings different responsibilities. Spring focuses on preparation. Summer demands maintenance. Autumn becomes harvest season. Winter centers around survival and repair. Each season carries its own rhythm, its own challenges, its own rewards. The farmer kneels and examines the soil. Generations of experience guide these observations. Modern, scientific equipment does not exist here. Knowledge comes from observation, from memory, from lessons passed between generations. Farmers watch clouds, study winds, observe insects, notice tiny changes in soil texture. Their survival depends upon understanding nature. A distant horse-drawn wagon rattles along a dirt road. Travel in the 19th century is slow. Distances that seem short today may require hours. A trip to town could consume an entire day. Careful planning becomes essential. Every journey costs valuable time. Time that might otherwise be spent working. As morning continues, the sun climbs higher. The temperature begins to rise. Work intensifies. The peaceful dawn fades. Sweat appears. Muscles ache. Yet tasks continue relentlessly. The farm never truly stops, not for weekends, not for vacations, not for convenience. Nature sets the schedule, and nature rarely compromises. The rhythm of 19th century farming is demanding. but it is also deeply connected to the land. Every season feels meaningful. Every harvest feels earned. Every meal reflects countless hours of labor. As you continue your morning work beneath the growing sunlight, you begin to understand something important. Life here is difficult, yet it is also purposeful. Every action contributes directly to survival. Every task has visible consequences. The connection between effort and reward is immediate, and the day has only just begun. The morning sun continues its slow climb into the sky. By now, the chill of dawn has disappeared. Warm sunlight spreads across the fields, illuminating every fence post, every patch of grass, and every distant hill. The farm is fully awake. From every direction come the sounds of work. Axes strike wood, horses pull wagons. Chickens cluck noisily. Cows call from their pastures. The entire landscape feels alive. You pause briefly to wipe sweat from your forehead. Even though the day is still young, hours of labor have already passed. This is normal in the 19th century. Most farm families rise between 4 and 5 in the morning. Sleeping late is considered a luxury few can afford. Every hour of daylight is precious, especially during planting and harvest seasons. As you look across the farm, you notice something interesting. Very few machines are visible. Modern farms rely on enormous tractors, harvesters, and specialized equipment. But here, human labor remains the primary source of power. Animals provide the rest. Nearly everything requires physical effort: digging, lifting, carrying, piling, cutting, repairing. Every task demands strength. The farmer hands you a simple hoe. Today, weeds must be removed. Rows of crops stretch endlessly before you. At first glance, the work appears easy, but after only a few minutes, your back begins to ache. The repetitive motion becomes exhausting. Iskan after hour, farmers perform tasks like this. The work builds incredible endurance. Many 19th century farmers possess remarkable physical strength, simply because daily life requires it. You continue moving down the row. The smell of fresh earth rises into the air. Birds occasionally land nearby, searching for insects. A gentle breeze moves through the crops. For a moment, the scene feels peaceful. Then you remember how much work remains. A farm is never truly finished. Even when one task ends, another immediately begins. This constant cycle defines rural life. As the morning progresses, attention shifts toward fence repair. Wooden fences surround fields and pastures. They protect crops, contain animals, mark property boundaries, yet weather constantly damages them. Rain weakens posts, wind loosens boards, snow causes cracks. Maintenance never ends. You walk toward a damaged section. Several rails have fallen. Repairing them requires lifting heavy timbers and securing them in place. Simple work. Hard work. The kind of work that fills countless hours throughout the year. Nearby, children help gather loose branches. Even the youngest family members contribute. In many 19th century households, childhood looks very different from modern expectations. Children often begin meaningful work at an early age. Not because families are cruel, because survival requires everyone's participation. A large farm functions almost like a small community. Each person plays a role. Each person contributes something valuable. Around mid-morning, a wagon arrives. The driver is a neighboring farmer. Rural communities depend heavily upon cooperation. Neighbors frequently exchange labor. One week you help repair a barn. The next week they help bring in a harvest. This spirit of cooperation becomes especially important during emergencies. A serious illness, a damaged roof, a failed crop. Without community support, survival becomes much harder. The visiting farmer climbs down from his wagon. Greetings are exchanged. News is shared. In a world without phones, television, or internet, personal visits serve as important sources of information. People learn about weather conditions, crop prices, family events, regional happenings. Conversations become valuable. Information travels slowly. Sometimes news takes weeks to arrive. As the men talk, you notice the wagon itself. Its wooden wheels show signs of wear. Iron bands surround the rims. The design appears simple, yet wagons represent essential technology. Without them, transporting crops would be nearly impossible. Everything from grain to firewood relies upon wagon transport. A well-built wagon can serve a family for decades. Eventually, the visitor departs. His wagon rattles down the dirt road until it disappears beyond a hill. The farm returns to its usual rhythm. By now, the sun sits high overhead. The temperature continues rising. Work becomes more difficult. Clothing sticks to skin. Hands grow sore. Dust clings to boots. Still, nobody stops. There is too much to accomplish. Soon, another important task begins: milking. You walk toward the dairy cows grazing nearby. Before modern dairy systems existed, milking required patience and skill. Each cow must be approached calmly. A nervous animal can kick unexpectedly. The farmer sits beside a cow, holding a metal bucket. The process begins, steady, rhythmic, repeated countless times throughout the centuries. Milk represents one of the most valuable products on the farm. Families drink it fresh. They make butter, cheese, cream. Nearly every part is used. Nothing is wasted. After milking, the buckets are carried carefully toward the farmhouse. Fresh milk spoils quickly. Proper handling is essential. Many 19th century households possess specialized knowledge about food preservation. Without refrigeration, keeping food edible requires creativity. Salting, smoking, drying, pickling, fermenting. These techniques transform survival into an art form. Generations pass down these skills. Mistakes can mean hunger during winter. Success provides security. As noon approaches, shadows shorten. The brightest part of the day arrives. Workers begin looking toward the farmhouse. Lunchtime is near. Meals serve not only as nourishment, but also as rare opportunities to rest. You return indoors. The kitchen feels slightly cooler than the fields. A simple meal awaits. Fresh bread, vegetables, perhaps beans, perhaps stew simmering slowly over the fire. The food lacks modern variety, yet it is hearty and satisfying. Every ingredient reflects labor. Every bite represents effort. People eat differently when food requires months of work to produce. Wastefulness becomes unthinkable. The family gathers around the table. Conversations remain practical. Discussion centers on weather, livestock, repairs, harvest expectations. Life revolves around the farm because the farm provides everything: food, income, security, and identity. Outside, sunlight pours through the windows. The fields wait patiently. More work is coming, much more. But for now, there is a brief moment of rest, a chance to sit quietly, a chance to recover, a chance to appreciate the simple comfort of a meal shared together. Soon enough, the afternoon will begin, and with it will come some of the hardest work of the entire day. The sun continues shining brightly over the 19th century countryside. The horses stand quietly in their pasture. The fields stretch endlessly toward the horizon, and your long day on the farm is only halfway complete. The midday meal has ended. For a few precious minutes, the family enjoyed the rare luxury of sitting down together. But rest does not last long on a 19th century farm. Outside, the afternoon sun shines brightly. The fields are waiting, the animals are waiting, the work is waiting. You step back outdoors and immediately feel the warmth of the day. The air is heavier now. Cicadas buzz in nearby trees. A gentle wind moves across the countryside. The farm appears peaceful from a distance. Yet beneath that peaceful appearance lies endless labor. The farmer glances toward the sky. Weather is always on his mind. Modern forecasts do not exist. There are no weather apps, no radar maps, no television reports. Instead, farmers learn to read nature itself. Cloud formations, wind direction, humidity, animal behavior all become clues. A sudden change in the sky can mean disaster. Heavy rain may destroy crops. Hail can ruin months of work within minutes. A drought can threaten an entire year's survival. Every season carries risks. And every farmer understands that nature ultimately remains in control. You walk toward a large field of wheat. Golden stalks sway gently beneath the afternoon sun. Harvest season is still weeks away, yet preparations have already begun. Tools must be repaired. Storage areas must be cleaned. Wagons must be inspected. A successful harvest requires careful planning. Nothing can be left to chance. Nearby stands a wooden barn, weathered by decades of wind and rain. Its rough boards tell stories of countless seasons. Generations have worked here. Generations have depended on this land. Many farms remain within the same family for decades, sometimes centuries. Children inherit responsibilities along with the property itself. The farm becomes more than land. It becomes a legacy. As you enter the barn, dust dances through beams of sunlight streaming from cracks in the walls. The smell of hay fills the air. Large stacks reach nearly to the rafters. Each bundle represents hours of hard work. Haymaking is one of the most important tasks of summer. Without enough hay, livestock cannot survive winter. And without livestock, farm life becomes far more difficult. You begin helping move several bundles. At first, they seem light. But after carrying dozens, exhaustion begins to build. Your arms ache, your shoulders burn. The repetitive work continues. Farmers often perform these tasks for entire days. Their endurance is remarkable, not because they enjoy discomfort, because necessity leaves no alternative. As afternoon shadows slowly lengthen, attention shifts toward the vegetable garden. Nearly every farm maintains one. Rows of cabbage, carrots, beans, onions, potatoes, turnips. These crops provide essential nutrition throughout the year. Many vegetables are preserved for winter storage. Root cellars become incredibly important. Beneath the farmhouse, cool, underground chambers protect food from spoilage. Inside, shelves hold jars of preserved fruits and vegetables. Barrels contain potatoes and apples. Every available space is used wisely. Winter preparation begins long before winter arrives. Experienced farmers know this well. The future is always on their minds. You kneel beside a row of beans. The soil feels warm beneath your hands. Small insects move among the leaves. The garden requires constant attention. Weeds grow quickly. Pests appear unexpectedly. Disease can spread without warning. Successful gardening demands patience and observation. Skills developed over generations. Nearby, several children gather vegetables into baskets. Their laughter briefly fills the air. Moments like these are precious. Life on the farm is demanding, yet it also creates strong family bonds. People spend nearly every day together, working, eating, learning, surviving. Modern distractions do not exist. The family itself becomes the center of daily life. As afternoon progresses, another important task begins: wood cutting. A large pile of logs waits near the edge of the property. Firewood remains essential throughout the year, especially during winter. Without sufficient wood, families may face dangerous cold. You pick up an axe. The wooden handle feels smooth from years of use. Each swing requires effort. The sharp blade strikes the log. Wood splits apart, again, and again, and again. The rhythm becomes almost hypnotic. Many farm tasks follow this pattern. Simple movements repeated countless times. The work can be exhausting, but it can also become strangely calming. A steady routine, a predictable rhythm, a connection between effort and accomplishment. As the afternoon continues, clouds begin appearing along the horizon. The farmer notices immediately. Experience has trained his eyes. He studies the sky carefully. Dark clouds often bring concern. Weather remains one of the greatest uncertainties of farm life. Entire harvests can be affected by a single storm. For this reason, farmers develop deep respect for nature. Not fear, not resentment. Respect nature provides life. Nature can also take it away. The distant rumble of thunder echoes faintly. Perhaps the storm will pass. Perhaps it will not. Nobody knows. All that can be done is preparation. You help secure tools and equipment. Loose items are placed under shelter. Animals are checked. The farm prepares for whatever may come. Fortunately, after an hour, the clouds drift away. The danger passes. Relief spreads quietly across the farm. Work resumes. By now, the afternoon is beginning to fade. The sunlight softens. Golden colors spread across the landscape. Long shadows stretch across fields. The most intense heat of the day disappears. Yet there is still much to accomplish before evening arrives. The cows must be checked again. Water levels inspected. Animals counted. Farmers know every animal individually. They notice small changes. A limp, a cough, unusual behavior. Livestock represent valuable investments. Their health directly affects the family's future. You walk through the pasture. The grass sways gently in the evening breeze. Several cows graze peacefully. A horse lifts its head and watches you pass. The scene feels timeless, quiet, steady, simple. For centuries, scenes like this have played out across farms around the world. Generations living close to the land, dependent upon seasons, guided by sunrise and sunset. As evening approaches, the pace of work gradually slows, not because everything is finished. It never is, but because daylight is fading. In a world without electric lighting, darkness changes everything. Knapsacks that are easy during daylight become difficult after sunset. The natural rhythm of life follows the sun. Soon the farmhouse chimney begins releasing a thin stream of smoke. Dinner preparations have begun. The scent of cooking drifts across the yard. A welcome reminder that the day's labor is nearing its end. You take one final look across the fields. The setting sun bathes everything in golden light. The crops glow softly. The barn stands quietly against the horizon. The animals settle into their evening routines. For a moment, the farm feels completely at peace. Yet beneath that peace lies the effort of an entire day. Thousands of small tasks, countless hours of labor. The work that sustains a family, the work that sustains a way of life. And soon, as darkness begins to fall, the evening chapter of your 19th century farm day will begin. The sun slowly sinks toward the horizon. Its golden light stretches across the fields, covering the farm in warm colors. The hardest hours of labor are now behind you. But the day is not yet finished, not even close. On a 19th century farm, evening brings a different kind of work. The pace becomes slower, the temperature becomes cooler. Yet responsibilities continue until darkness finally arrives. You walk back toward the barn. The animals must be cared for one last time before night. This routine never changes, no matter how tired a farmer may feel. No matter the weather, the livestock always come first. Inside the barn, the air feels calm. The horses stand quietly in their stalls. A few cows chew lazily. The soft rustling of hay fills the silence. You carry fresh feed down the center aisle. The familiar smells of wood, straw, and animals surround you. After an entire day on the farm, these scents have become almost comforting. The horses eagerly move toward their feed. These powerful animals have worked alongside humans throughout the day, pulling wagons, hauling supplies, helping plow fields. Without them, 19th century agriculture would look completely different. Before tractors existed, horses were among the most valuable resources a family could own. A healthy horse could transform a farm's productivity. A sick horse could create serious problems. Farmers therefore care for them carefully. Each animal is brushed, inspected, fed, watered. Their health is constantly monitored. The relationship between farmer and horse is built upon necessity and trust. Outside, the sky continues changing colors. Orange becomes pink. Pink becomes purple. The first evening stars begin appearing overhead. You leave the barn and walk toward the chicken coop. The chickens are already settling down. Most have returned to their roosts. Their noisy activity from earlier has faded into occasional soft clucks. Nature follows its own schedule. As daylight disappears, animals instinctively prepare for rest. People often do the same, long before electric lights extended waking hours. Sunset marked an important transition. Life naturally slowed down. Darkness encouraged rest. The farmyard feels peaceful now. The constant sounds of work have mostly disappeared. No wagons move, no tools strike wood, no axes swing. Only the gentle sounds of evening remain. A breeze moves through nearby trees. Crickets begin their nightly song. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barks briefly. Then silence returns. You make your way toward the farmhouse. Warm light glows through the windows. The sight feels welcoming. After hours spent outdoors, home offers comfort. Simple comfort. The kind that comes from familiarity. Inside, dinner preparations are nearly complete. The kitchen is once again the center of activity. A cast iron pot hangs over the fire. Fresh bread rests on the table. The smell of stew fills the room. Everyone is hungry. Physical labor creates enormous appetites. Modern office workers rarely burn as many calories in an entire day as 19th century farmers burned before noon. Food serves as fuel. Without it, the demanding workload would be impossible. Soon the family gathers around the table. This evening meal is often the largest of the day. For a little while, work pauses, conversations begin, stories are shared, news is exchanged, plans for tomorrow are discussed. These moments are important. There are no televisions competing for attention, no phones, no social media. People focus on one another. Families spend far more time together than many modern households. Daily life naturally encourages interaction. You listen quietly as the family talks. Perhaps someone mentions a neighbor's new barn. Perhaps another speaks about weather predictions. Perhaps an older grandparent shares memories from decades earlier. Oral storytelling remains a major source of entertainment. History passes from generation to generation through spoken words. Knowledge survives because people remember, and because they teach. The meal lasts longer than breakfast. There is less urgency now. The most demanding tasks have already been completed. Outside, darkness settles over the countryside. The stars grow brighter. Without modern light pollution, the night sky appears extraordinary. Thousands of stars shine overhead. The Milky Way stretches across the heavens like a glowing river. Many 19th century farmers know the stars well. They spend so much time outdoors that celestial patterns become familiar companions. Certain stars help mark the seasons. Certain constellations guide travelers. The night sky serves practical purposes as well as inspiring wonder. After dinner, the dishes must still be cleaned. This task takes time. Without running water or dishwashers, every plate and utensil requires manual washing. Buckets of water are carried. Soap is used sparingly. Nothing is wasted. Even household chores demand effort. Life contains very few conveniences, yet people adapt because they know no alternative. As evening continues, some family members turn toward other responsibilities: clothing repairs, tool maintenance, mending harnesses, sharpening blades, preparing supplies for tomorrow. The workday may be ending, but productivity continues. Winter evenings often become especially important for these activities. When outdoor labor decreases, indoor projects increase. Farm life follows seasonal rhythms. Every season has its own priorities, its own challenges, its own opportunities. Near the fireplace, someone begins knitting. Another person may sew. Perhaps an older family member carves a wooden tool handle. Hands remain busy. Skills are constantly practiced. Self-sufficiency is essential. Buying replacements is expensive. Making things yourself is often easier and cheaper. The fire crackles softly. Its warm glow fills the room. Shadows dance across wooden walls. The atmosphere feels peaceful, comforting, almost timeless. For generations, people have ended their days around fires like this, sharing stories, sharing meals, sharing life itself. As the hours pass, fatigue begins to settle over everyone. The long day is finally catching up. Heavy eyelids, sore muscles, aching hands. The physical demands of farm life ensure that sleep comes easily. Nobody struggles to stay awake. They have earned their rest. Tomorrow will bring another sunrise, another long list of tasks, another day of responsibility. The cycle never truly ends, yet there is satisfaction in that rhythm, a sense of purpose, a connection to the land and to the seasons. The fire burns lower. The room grows quieter. One by one, family members begin preparing for bed. The farmhouse slowly settles into silence. Outside, moonlight shines across the fields. The barn stands quietly beneath the stars. The animals sleep peacefully. The countryside rests. And as the evening deepens into night, one final chapter remains before your 19th-century farm day comes to an end. The farmhouse has grown quiet. The conversations around the dinner table have ended. The dishes have been washed and carefully placed back onto their shelves. The final chores of the evening are complete. Outside, darkness blankets the countryside. Only the soft glow of lantern light escapes through the farmhouse windows. You sit near the fireplace for a few moments longer. The flames dance gently across the stone hearth. Their warm orange light fills the room with a feeling of comfort and security. For a 19th-century family, this fire means far more than convenience. It means warmth during winter, light during darkness, food upon the table, protection against the cold. The fireplace is the heart of the home. For generations, families have gathered around fires just like this one, sharing stories, teaching lessons, passing down traditions, creating memories. As the evening continues, an older member of the household begins telling a story. Perhaps it is a tale learned from grandparents. Perhaps it is a local legend. Perhaps it is a memory from decades ago. Before radio, before television, before movies, storytelling serves as entertainment. Entire evenings can pass this way. Children listen carefully. Adults smile knowingly. The stories connect generations together. They preserve history. They strengthen family bonds. Outside, the sounds of nature continue. A breeze rustles through nearby trees. Crickets perform their endless nighttime concert. Occasionally, a distant dog barks somewhere across the countryside. The world feels peaceful. Far removed from the noise and speed of modern life. Without electric lights, most rural communities settle into sleep surprisingly early. There is little reason to remain awake deep into the night. Tomorrow's work begins before sunrise. Rest is valuable. Every hour of sleep matters. The family begins preparing for bed. Lanterns are extinguished one by one. Each room grows darker. Shadows stretch across the walls. The farmhouse slowly settles into silence. You carry a small candle upstairs. Its tiny flame flickers as you walk. The wooden staircase creaks beneath your feet. Everything feels still, calm, quiet. You reach the bedroom. The room is simple. A wooden bed, a small table, perhaps a wash basin, few decorations, few possessions. 19th century farm families generally own only what they truly need. Every item serves a purpose. Luxury is rare. Practicality is valued. You sit beside the window. Outside, the moon hangs above the fields. Silver light covers the landscape. The barn stands quietly in the distance. Fences cast long shadows. The farm appears completely different at night. During the day, it is filled with motion and activity. Now it rests peacefully beneath the stars. Yet even while sleeping, the farm remains vulnerable. Storms can arrive unexpectedly. Predators may approach livestock. A sick animal may require attention. Farmers learn to remain alert. Responsibility never completely disappears. Many families keep a dog nearby. Its ears remain attentive throughout the night. The animal serves as both companion and protector. A warning system against unexpected visitors. As you gaze across the moonlit fields, it becomes easier to understand the mindset of 19th century farmers. Their lives revolve around patience. Nature cannot be rushed. Crops grow according to their own schedule. Seasons arrive in their own time. Rain falls when it chooses. Success requires accepting these realities. Farmers learn humility from the land. They learn perseverance. They learn resilience. Every year presents challenges, yet they continue season after season, generation after generation. The candle beside you burns lower. The room grows dimmer. Eventually you prepare for sleep. The feather mattress awaits. The thick wool blanket promises warmth. You lie down slowly. The day's work lingers in your muscles. Your arms feel heavy. Your legs ache slightly. But it is the satisfying exhaustion that comes from honest labor. Outside, the countryside remains peaceful. The stars continue shining above the fields, thousands of them. Perhaps more stars than most modern people ever see. The night sky of the 19th century is truly magnificent. Without light pollution, the heavens reveal extraordinary detail. Many farmers become familiar with constellations, not merely for enjoyment, for navigation, for keeping track of seasons. The stars serve practical purposes as well. The farmhouse grows quieter still. Soon, everyone is asleep. The parents, the children, the animals in the barn. Even the dog curls into a comfortable resting place. For several hours, the farm enjoys complete tranquility, a rare pause in its endless cycle. Yet while the family sleeps, time continues, moving forward. The earth continues turning. The moon slowly crosses the sky. Night gradually advances toward morning. And somewhere beyond the eastern horizon, another sunrise is already preparing to arrive. Soon enough, the rooster will awaken. The first light will touch the fields. The fire will be rekindled. The chores will begin once again, because life on a 19th century farm is not defined by a single day. It is defined by repetition, by routine, by commitment. Each day resembles the one before it, yet every day matters. Every task contributes to survival. Every season builds upon the last. As sleep begins to overtake you, the sounds of the countryside grow softer. The wind fades into the distance. The crickets become a gentle background melody. The entire world seems to slow. The farm rests peacefully beneath the stars, and for a little while, all is calm. The night passes quietly. Haws drift by beneath a sky filled with countless stars. The farmhouse remains still. The fields rest peacefully. The animals sleep. Everything feels calm beneath the cool darkness of the countryside. Gradually, almost unnoticed, the night begins to change. The deepest darkness starts to fade. Far to the east, a faint glow appears along the horizon. Morning is coming once again. Long before sunrise, the farmer awakens. This happens nearly every day of the year. The rhythm has become second nature. No alarm clock rings. No electronic device announces the time. Years of routine guide the body naturally. The farmer rises quietly, careful not to wake the rest of the household. Outside, the air is cool and fresh. The world feels untouched. For a brief moment before the work begins, there is silence. A rare and beautiful silence. Then, somewhere in the distance, a rooster crows. The familiar sound echoes across the countryside. Soon another rooster answers, then another. The new day has begun. Back inside the farmhouse, glowing embers still remain within the fireplace. The farmer kneels beside them. A few pieces of dry wood are carefully added. Gentle breaths encourage the coals. Slowly, tiny flames appear. Then larger flames. The fire returns to life. Once again, warmth begins spreading throughout the room. This simple act has been repeated thousands of times across generations. A small task, yet one that shapes daily life. Soon the rest of the household begins awakening. Footsteps sound upstairs. Doors open. Voices quietly greet the morning. The routine starts all over again. The same chores, the same responsibilities, the same dedication. To an outsider, the repetition might seem exhausting, yet to the farm family, it provides stability, predictability, purpose. Life follows a dependable rhythm. The seasons change, children grow older, years pass, but the essential routines remain. As dawn spreads across the fields, sunlight slowly returns. Golden rays illuminate the landscape. The farm awakens from its nightly rest. The barn comes alive with movement. The chickens begin clucking. The cows stir inside their stalls. The horses stamp their hooves. Another day of work awaits. You step outside and look across the countryside one final time. The view is breathtaking. Morning mist hovers above the fields. Dew sparkles upon the grass. The rising sun paints everything in warm golden colors. It is a scene that millions of farmers throughout history have witnessed. A scene that has changed very little across generations. And perhaps that is one of the most remarkable things about farm life. Despite all the hardships, despite all the labor, there is a timeless beauty here. A connection to the natural world. A connection to the seasons. A connection to traditions stretching back hundreds of years. The 19th century farm represents more than agriculture. It represents a way of life. A life built upon self-reliance, discipline, family, community, and patience. Every loaf of bread requires months of effort. Every harvest requires careful planning. Every winter requires preparation. Nothing comes easily, yet everything feels meaningful. You think about the countless tasks completed during just one ordinary day. Feeding animals, milking cows, repairing fences, gathering eggs, carrying water, cutting wood, preparing meals, maintaining equipment, caring for crops. Each task may seem small by itself. Together, they create an entire world. A world sustained through hard work and determination. For many farm families, this life is not a temporary experience. It is their identity, their heritage. Their future children learn the skills of farming from parents and grandparents. Knowledge passes naturally from one generation to the next. How to predict weather, how to care for animals, how to preserve food, how to manage land. These lessons become part of everyday life. There are no formal classrooms for many of these skills. The farm itself becomes the classroom. The fields become the teacher. Experience becomes the textbook. As the sun climbs higher, the new workday officially begins. The cycle continues exactly as it has for years, and exactly as it will continue for years to come. There is comfort in that continuity, comfort in knowing what must be done, comfort in belonging to something larger than oneself. The 19th century farmer may not possess modern conveniences. There are no tractors, no electricity, no running water, no machines performing the difficult work. Yet there exists something else, a profound understanding of the land, a deep appreciation for nature, a strong connection to family and community. These values shape daily life, and they help explain why farming communities remain so resilient, even during difficult times. As you watch the morning unfold, you begin to appreciate how much effort was required to build the world we know today. Every town, every city, every nation depends upon people who grow food, people who rise before dawn, people who work through heat and cold, people who accept uncertainty and continue forward anyway. The 19th century farmer embodies that spirit: quiet determination, steady perseverance, unwavering commitment. Now the sun shines brightly above the fields once again. The farm is fully awake. The cycle has restarted, exactly where it ended yesterday, exactly where it will begin tomorrow. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson of all. Life on a 19th century farm is not defined by extraordinary moments. It is defined by ordinary moments repeated faithfully over time. A rooster greeting the sunrise, a fire warming the kitchen, fresh hay filling a barn, families sharing meals together, stars shining above quiet fields. Simple moments, meaningful moments, timeless moments. As you slowly drift towards sleep, imagine the farm one last time. The golden fields stretching toward the horizon, the weathered barn standing proudly in the morning light, the horses grazing peacefully, the farmhouse chimney releasing a thin trail of smoke. The family beginning another day together, a world shaped by patience, a world shaped by hard work, a world shaped by the steady rhythm of the land itself. And as the sounds of the farm grow softer and softer in the distance, your journey through a day in a 19th century farm gently comes to an end. Several months pass. The long days of spring planting have become distant memories. Summer has slowly faded. Now autumn has arrived across the countryside. The air feels cooler. The mornings carry a slight chill. Leaves on distant trees begin changing color. Some turn golden, others become bright orange, others deep red. For the farmer, these colors signal something important. Harvest season has begun. This is the most critical time of the entire year. Everything depends upon the next few weeks. A successful harvest means security through winter. A poor harvest means uncertainty, perhaps even hardship. Before sunrise, the entire household is already awake. Excitement fills the air. Months of work are finally reaching their conclusion. The fields that were once bare soil now stand covered in mature crops. Golden wheat stretches across the landscape. Corn towers above your head. Vegetable gardens overflow with produce. Nature has completed its work. Now human effort must finish the task. You walk toward the wheat field. The rising sun casts long shadows across the grain. Each stalk sways gently in the morning breeze. The sight is beautiful, yet nobody pauses for long. There is too much work ahead. Farmers understand that weather can change suddenly. A storm arriving at the wrong moment can damage an entire harvest. Every clear day must be used wisely. The farmer picks up a scythe. Its curved blade glints in the sunlight. For generations, tools like this have harvested fields across the world. Long before modern combines, long before tractors, long before engines, harvesting depends upon human strength. The farmer begins cutting. The blade sweeps smoothly through the wheat. A row falls neatly to the ground, then another and another. The rhythm becomes steady, almost musical. Across the field, family members work side by side. Everyone contributes. Children gather bundles. Teenagers stack sheaves. Adults perform the heaviest labor. The harvest becomes a community effort. Hours pass. The sun climbs higher. The field slowly changes. Areas once covered in grain now stand empty. Evidence of progress appears everywhere. Wagons wait nearby. Soon they will carry the harvest toward barns and storage buildings. The work is exhausting. Sweat soaks clothing. Muscles ache, hands grow sore. Yet nobody complains. This effort represents survival itself. Every bundle matters. Every wagon matters. Every hour matters. By midday, the countryside hums with activity. Neighboring farms are harvesting too. Across the valley, you can see distant figures working in their own fields. The entire region seems united by a single purpose: bringing in the harvest before winter arrives. As afternoon approaches, dark clouds appear briefly on the horizon. Everyone notices. Work speeds up. The possibility of rain creates urgency. Fortunately, the clouds drift away. Relief spreads across the workers. The harvest continues. As evening approaches, wagon after wagon arrives at the barn. The year's hard work begins filling storage spaces. Golden wheat stacks grow taller. Corn fills bins. Vegetables fill root cellars. The farm slowly transforms from uncertainty into security. For the first time in months, the family begins feeling confident about the coming winter. The harvest is not yet finished. Several more weeks of work remain, but the hardest part has begun successfully. As the sun sets, golden light washes across the fields. Workers pause briefly. They look across the land. Months of effort now stand visible before them. It is one of the most satisfying sights a 19th-century farmer can experience. A successful harvest, a reward earned through patience, through sacrifice, through countless days of labor. And tomorrow morning, the harvest will continue once again. Work. A season that can be dangerous if mistakes were made during the rest of the year. The first signs appear gradually. The mornings become colder. Frost begins forming on the grass. The days grow shorter. Sunrise arrives later. Sunset comes earlier. The countryside slowly changes color. Fields that were once green now appear brown and golden. Trees shed their leaves. The landscape becomes quieter. Many birds have already begun migrating south. The farm prepares itself. Extra firewood is stacked beside the house. Barn doors are reinforced. Roof repairs are completed before snow arrives. Every task has a purpose. Every task improves the family's chances of surviving comfortably. One morning, you awaken to a remarkable sight. Snow. A thin white blanket covers the farm. Fence posts wear caps of snow. The barn roof glistens in the early sunlight. The fields disappear beneath a layer of white. The world seems transformed overnight. Beautiful, silent, peaceful. Yet beneath that beauty lies a challenge. Winter increases the workload in unexpected ways. Animals still need food. Animals still need water. The family still needs heat. Nothing stops simply because snow has arrived. You step outside. Cold air immediately bites at your cheeks. Your breath becomes visible. The ground crunches beneath your boots. The farmer is already heading toward the barn. Winter chores begin earlier because they often take longer. Water troughs may freeze overnight. Panes must be cleared. Animals require additional feed to stay warm. Inside the barn, livestock gather close together. Their body heat helps warm the space slightly. The smell of hay is stronger now. Stacks that seemed enormous during autumn suddenly appear smaller. Each day removes another portion. The family watches carefully. There must be enough feed to last until spring. Running out is not an option. You begin carrying hay to the animals. The cows eagerly push their noses into the fresh feed. The horses chew slowly. Their breath rises in soft clouds. Outside, snow continues falling gently. The world grows quieter with every passing hour. Later that morning, another challenge appears. The well bucket emerges coated with ice. Water must still be collected, even when temperatures drop below freezing. Farm families quickly learn that winter offers few shortcuts. Nattacks become harder, not fewer. The farmer breaks thin ice from the trough using a wooden tool. The sound echoes through the crisp air. Soon fresh water is available again. The animals drink eagerly. As the weeks pass, snowfall increases. Sometimes only a few inches fall. Sometimes storms arrive that bury the countryside beneath deep drifts. During severe storms, travel becomes nearly impossible. Roads disappear. Wagons remain parked. Entire communities can become temporarily isolated. For this reason, preparation matters enormously. Everything needed for winter should already be on the farm. Food, firewood, animal feed tools, medicine. A well-prepared family can remain comfortable despite weeks of snow. A poorly prepared family faces hardship. Inside the farmhouse, life changes as well. Much more time is spent indoors. The fireplace burns almost constantly. Family members gather around its warmth. Clothing becomes heavier. Wool blankets appear. Thick socks and coats become daily necessities. Even simple tasks require extra effort. Yet winter also creates opportunities. Many repairs that were impossible during busy farming seasons can now be completed. Tools are sharpened. Harnesses are repaired. Furniture is fixed. Planning for next year's crops begins. Winter becomes a season of preparation rather than production. One evening a snowstorm arrives. The wind howls around the farmhouse. Snow strikes the windows. The barn disappears behind a curtain of white. Inside, however, the family remains safe. The fire crackles warmly. A pot of stew simmers over the hearth. Lantern light fills the room. The contrast is remarkable. Outside, a harsh winter storm. Inside, warmth and comfort. Moments like these remind everyone why preparation is so important. The supplies gathered during harvest now provide security. The wood cut during summer now provides warmth. The food preserved during autumn now fills the table. Everything is connected. Every season supports the next. As winter continues, holidays bring small moments of celebration. Families gather. Special meals are prepared. Stories are shared. Children play simple games. Neighbors sometimes visit if weather permits. These occasions provide welcome relief from the long cold months. Yet even during celebrations, responsibilities remain. Animals still require care. The fire still needs tending. Farm life never completely stops. Eventually, after many weeks, subtle changes begin appearing. The days grow slightly longer. Sunrise arrives earlier. The afternoon sunlight lingers just a little longer. The farmer notices immediately. Experience has taught him what these signs mean. Winter is beginning to loosen its grip. Spring is still distant, but it is coming. And with spring will come another planting season, another cycle, another year. As you stand outside one late winter afternoon, the sun shines brightly across the snow-covered fields. The air remains cold. Yet something feels different. Hope has returned. Soon the snow will melt. Soon green shoots will emerge from the soil. Soon the farm will awaken once again. And the endless rhythm of 19th century farm life will continue. Exactly as it has for generations. Exactly as it always will. As winter slowly fades and another farming year approaches, it is time to meet some of the busiest members of the 19th century farm. The children. Modern childhood often revolves around schools, toys, sports, and free time. 19th century farm childhood is very different. Children still laugh, they still play, they still dream, but they also work, and often they begin working at surprisingly young ages. On a farm, every pair of hands matters, even small hands. You awaken before sunrise inside the farmhouse. The rooster has barely crowed, yet several children are already awake. The oldest daughter is helping prepare breakfast. A young boy pulls on heavy boots. Another child carries kindling toward the kitchen fire. The day begins early for everyone, including the youngest members of the household. A 7-year-old child might start with simple responsibilities: gathering eggs, bringing water, collecting firewood, feeding chickens, small jobs, yet important jobs. These tasks teach responsibility. They also help the family. As children grow older, their duties increase. A 10-year-old may help milk cows. A 12-year-old might guide horses. Teenagers often perform nearly the same work as adults. The farm becomes their classroom. Every season teaches new lessons: how to care for animals, how to repair fences, how to identify weather patterns, how to preserve food. Knowledge passes naturally from one generation to the next. There are no instruction manuals, no online tutorials, no training courses. Experience becomes the teacher. Ponkrunts become mentors. The land becomes the textbook. You walk outside with several children as the morning sun rises. The youngest rush toward the chicken coop. Egg gathering is one of the most common chores. Each egg must be collected carefully. Broken eggs represent lost food, lost income, lost opportunity. The children know this. They move carefully, patiently. Their baskets gradually fill. Nearby, another child helps carry feed to livestock. The bucket seems heavy, yet the child carries it proudly. On a farm, contributing matters. Work is viewed differently. It is not merely an obligation. It is part of belonging, part of helping the family succeed. As the day continues, older children move toward the fields. Planting season has arrived. Crops must be prepared. Seeds must be placed carefully into the soil. The work requires attention. Too deep, and the seed struggles. Too shallow, and it may dry out. Children learn these details early. Mistakes become lessons. Lessons become experience. Experience becomes wisdom. Not every day is filled entirely with work, however. Children still find moments for fun. A group of boys races across a pasture. Several girls laugh while gathering berries. Games appear wherever free moments can be found. A stick becomes a toy sword. A rope becomes entertainment. A nearby stream becomes an adventure. Children possess remarkable creativity, especially when expensive toys are rare. One afternoon, after chores are complete, a group gathers beneath a large tree. Stories begin. Some are true, some are not. Nobody seems concerned about the difference. The goal is enjoyment. Imagination flourishes. Without televisions or smartphones, children often entertain themselves through storytelling. Entire adventures unfold through words alone. As summer progresses, responsibilities grow heavier. Harvest season approaches. This is when children become especially valuable. Extra workers are needed everywhere: fields, barns, gardens, storage buildings. Everyone contributes. You watch a teenage boy helping stack hay inside a barn. The work is exhausting. Dust fills the air, the temperature rises, yet he continues steadily. Skills learned over years now prove useful. Nearby, a younger child gathers vegetables into baskets: potatoes, carrots, turnips. Each harvest helps prepare for winter. Even children understand the importance of preparation. They have seen difficult winters before. They know why the work matters. School also plays a role in many children's lives. However, Attendance often depends upon farming demands. During busy seasons, farm work frequently takes priority. Education remains important, but survival remains essential. In rural areas, one-room schoolhouses are common. Children of different ages study together. A single teacher may instruct dozens of students. The journey to school can be long, sometimes several miles, often on foot. Despite these challenges, many families value education deeply. They understand its importance, yet practical knowledge remains equally valuable. Reading and writing matter. So does knowing how to grow food. Both skills help build a successful future. As autumn arrives, children's workload reaches its peak. Harvest time is all hands on deck. The phrase perfectly describes farm life. Everyone helps. Everyone contributes. Everyone works toward a common goal. Days become long, sometimes beginning before sunrise and ending after sunset. Yet there is also excitement. The harvest represents success. Months of effort finally produce results. Children experience this satisfaction alongside adults. They witness the direct connection between hard work and reward. This lesson stays with many for life. As evening falls after a busy harvest day, the family gathers together. Children sit beside parents and grandparents. Stories are shared. Laughter fills the room. The fire crackles warmly. For a few hours, work fades into the background. Family becomes the focus. These moments are precious. They strengthen bonds, they create memories. They remind everyone why the hard work matters. Outside, darkness settles across the farm. The stars appear overhead. The children grow sleepy. Tomorrow will bring another early morning, another round of chores, another opportunity to learn, another opportunity to contribute. For 19th century farm children, life is not always easy. It demands responsibility, patience, effort, yet it also offers valuable lessons, lessons about family, community nurture, perseverance. And as they grow older, many of these children will one day inherit the farm itself. The cycle will continue, a new generation caring for the same land, following the same seasons, building upon the work of those who came before. And beneath the quiet stars of the countryside, another chapter of farm life gently comes to an end.